everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, welcome back to the Lowdown. Now, I got a very special guest in the studio with me today. He's actually heading up a project which I find absolutely interesting, and I can't wait to discuss it with him. I want you guys to watch this short video about a project he has coming up called Waking Up White.
A simple word, if. If I were white, maybe I would have gotten that job. Or, if I were white, maybe the cops wouldn't follow me as much. And maybe if I were white, I would have a better life to offer my family. In Waking Up White, an African-American family wakes up white one morning and has 3 days to determine if...
Wow, that's right. Everybody keep it going. Jason Gregory, yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
man.
You
Thank you so much for being on. Thank you for being on
my
today.
My pleasure, brother. Thank you.
I'm such a fan of this project, man. Since we first talked on the phone and you told me exactly what you were working on, I was intrigued. And I told everybody that would listen about this great thing that's going to be coming out soon, man.
Bless you. Thank you.
No, it's true. What if a family, a black family, woke up and they were white and they had 30 days to decide if they wanted to go back? Now, when you first hear it, of course, everything that you've ever heard, every stereotype goes, man, my credit would be better.
Yeah,
I could date a white girl and the dad wouldn't get mad. Like all that stuff like that pops in your head. But honestly, if you take a good look at this actual question, it poses so many more.
Yeah.
It sparks a good debate, a good discussion. So, first thing I want to ask you is, where did the idea come from?
You know, a couple of different avenues. Personal experiences from friends.
Yeah.
And then I happened to be watching news one night, and I watched an older African-American woman on television. She was crying, and she said, this wouldn't have happened if we were white. And I said, there's something really powerful in that word, if. And I said, I need to just go ahead and do more research on this and just dig into it and see what would happen to a black family if they woke up white.
Gotcha. If we could reverse that and see it from a different side, how would it affect the outside surroundings of us, as well as how would it affect us, what we would choose to do?
And culturally,
yes.
You know, is the grass truly greener on the other side? You know, would we have those opportunities that would those opportunities come easier for us that we really seek out? You know, would we have, you know, better educational opportunities? Would we have better, you know, employment opportunities and, you know, better opportunities, you know, with the police?
Yes.
You know?
Gotcha. It poses so many different points what's going on right now in society. That's why I think it's so prevalent what you're doing right now. Wow, that's amazing, because not only is that such an entertaining premise for a show, but it's also educational. It's going to be teaching, I think, a lot of people something that they did not know.
Yeah, you're right. And speaking of teaching, it's wild because this actually started out as my thesis project. I'm a graduate student at UCF.
So that's where it was born.
That's where it was born. You know, we started there, and then from there it morphed into a feature film, and then from a feature film it actually turned into a television series. And we said this will work for us because based on the topics, the issues that we discuss, we need to be able to do this on a weekly basis instead of just trying to cram it into 80, 90 minutes.
Because you could. There's so much to explore.
Yeah.
I mean, one topic that's very important right now that's going on in our own backyard is gentrification.
Yes.
And you guys definitely tackle that. Explain to me what you wanted to get out of that topic.
We are dealing with the loss of cultural identity, not only when the family wakes up white, but also in the neighborhood. So once the family wakes up white, the neighborhood that they fled, and I say fled because, you know, back in the 60s, once segregation was over, those who could afford to move across the street, they did. So they took the power of the black dollar with them.
Yes.
So this family, in essence, did the same exact thing, you know, while they were still black. So the neighborhood that they fled is in the early stages of gentrification. So now, whatever decision the family makes, it not only affects them, but it also affects the neighborhood.
That is amazing to do that, man,
Thank
because that's not talked about enough right now, that situation.
No. And we were very fortunate enough. There's a town here called Eatonville, and it is the oldest African American incorporated town in America.
That's right.
And we met with them and met with the mayor, and he was gracious enough to allow us to come in and film in his town. And we wanted to borrow from the history and the culture of Eatonville so that we could create our own fictitious town, which was called Wellsville. And
I like to play on that. I like Wellsville. Okay, everything, all's well. Okay, gotcha.
And well, Wellsville is actually a combination of not only Eatonville, but also another African American community here called Paramore.
Absolutely.
And Dr. Wells was one of the first African American doctors in Paramore. So we took his name, combined it with Eatonville, and created Wellsville.
That is amazing. And Paramore is a city in Orlando which is definitely shrinking. It's definitely getting pushed back more and more each year.
Yes, it is. It is. There's a lot of construction that's happening down in that area because it's right outside of downtown Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
So downtown Orlando is starting to creep in a little bit more,
That's
and
right.
Paramore is starting to become a little smaller. It's almost like kind of like what happened in Brooklyn.
That's right. Brooklyn is now the new suburb almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's completely different than what it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we took that situation of gentrification that's happening all across the country, and me being a military brat, I've seen it happen in different states and cities that I've lived in. And I lived in Philadelphia for quite some time as well, and gentrification is happening big time in Philadelphia right now. Harlem, Brooklyn, all of those boroughs. So we took from there. We did a lot of research there. We did a lot of research here, and we used that for the project.
Now, for people who are not familiar with gentrification and the effects of it, because people would think, oh, well, they're building better high rises, they're building places for people to live, and they're bringing business in. It sounds all good, but tell people the negative that comes with that.
Well, you have gentrification, and then you have revitalization.
Different.
And you have when there's revitalization taking place. That's when the government or those who are coming into the community or the neighborhood include those within the neighborhood in the revitalization.
They're not forced out.
They're not forced out.
Yes.
Gentrification is when they are starting to be pushed out, so that this, almost like colonization, so that this other group of folks can come in and just kind of take over that area.
Exactly right. And that's what people don't understand, because it's not been that way. When people talk about it, it's like, no, we're bringing in.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. No, it necessarily is not.
It's a good thing that we're pushing you out.
Pushing you out.
Yeah.
You're on a boat. We're going to push you over it.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah.
So tell me about the characters of it, the people that are on the actual sitcom that you're doing.
Oh man, we did a casting call at the beginning of this year, and we kept promoting the idea of the project for a while.
Yeah.
So a lot of folks had known about it, in the theater world, in the film world, and the comedy world. We actually have some comedians who are in it as well. So
I'm not in it though.
No, you're not.
Okay,
but episode 2 is coming. Episode 2 is coming.
I got you.
So we did a casting call at the beginning of January, and we were just flooded.
I bet you were.
Yeah, we had so many people come out for auditions, for live auditions. Some of them, did video auditions, and then those who couldn't make it to that audition, we allowed them to come in for the callbacks.
Yes.
So for the callbacks, we had probably about 70 people there.
Yes.
And it was crazy, and we got some of the best talent that Central Florida has to offer.
Nice.
And we wanted to make sure that we use Central Florida actors, because it's Central Florida based.
Okay.
We want to keep everything Central Florida, and man, we
Shine a light to Florida, man.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
me. That's what.
Yeah.
That's exactly. I'm born and raised in Florida, so I definitely like that. Someone big up is Florida, because we don't have it. We really don't.
We don't. And hopefully that can change. Within the next coming years, a new governor comes in, and maybe he'll help promote the film community in Central Florida, a lot better.
Instead of us all going to Atlanta or LA, we can bring that industry here and give people more opportunities.
Absolutely.
That's right. Because we do, and I stand by what you said, we have some of the best talent in the world. We really do, right here.
Yep.
But we just don't have a large enough platform yet. But I believe that's changing. I think it's getting bigger and better each year.
It is. Change is coming.
Yeah, it is. Definitely is.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about the family itself that turns white. What's the name of the family?
The Jenkins family.
The Jenkins family, okay.
You have Marcus Jenkins,
okay,
who's the father, and he is kind of the reason why this whole thing happens.
Okay.
Then you have Cherie Jenkins.
Okay.
Then you have Junior, or Marcus Jenkins Jr., who is played by one of the funniest brothers I know, Sean
Felipe.
Sean Felipe,
a fellow Orlando comedian.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes, Sean
okay,
Felipe.
Yeah. He is so good too.
He is.
Yeah.
His timing is just so perfect.
Yes.
It's just awesome. Playing Marcus is Essex O'Brien, and Essex is everywhere right now. Commercials, national commercials,
nice.
TV shows everywhere. Sarah Von Perry Anderson, she is fantastic. She came from the theater world, and we were blessed to really get her.
Nice.
She brought life to that role. Yes, she did. Then again, we have Sean, and then we have a newcomer. She just came in and wowed us, and that's Chardell Harrelson, and she plays Rashida.
Okay.
And she just did such a fantastic job, just hands down.
That's amazing.
It was just beautiful. So, and it's funny because when the family wakes up white, they keep the same names. So
really?
Now you have a white Rashida.
Yeah, that is different.
Yeah. And we actually have someone in another episode, and they said, I never met a white Rashida before.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here you go.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the things that you can talk about? Because I don't want you to give away any of the finer points of the show, the plot. But what are some of the things we can expect to see that they go through, the Jenkins family?
You can expect them to see them go through the struggle. A lot of struggles that African American families have. You know, trying, having more month than money. Mm-hmm. The bills are piling up. You're trying to pay the mortgage. You're trying to put your kids in the best schools because you want them to have the same opportunity. But maybe you feel like you're not included, or maybe you have a seat at the table, but you don't necessarily have a voice at the table.
That's
There's
right.
a big difference.
That is a difference, and that's a great point to bring up.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes, because
I'm here, but do I really get a voice so you can hear me?
Exactly, and it's not just with African Americans, but it's big time with women as well right now.
Absolutely.
You see a lot of women who have a seat at the table, but they really aren't allowed to speak their voice or their opinion.
Or they see the glass ceiling where they don't have the same opportunities to move up, or they're not paid the same as a man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And see, we deal with all of that. And believe it or not, it's a dramedy. It's probably more comedy than drama. Mm-hmm. But when we worked on the feature film, it was straight drama.
Yeah.
But we said, you know what? The message is easier to digest with comedy.
And that's absolutely right.
And that's what we did.
A little humor in there, get them to laugh. People are willing to take a look at it and really think about it later on. Like, man, that was funny, but you know why that was funny?
Yeah.
Because the truth is always funnier than fiction. It is like when I'm a comedian, I do all kinds of different kinds of comedy on stage, but I really found my voice when I started talking about stuff I really know. When I started talking about my family, my kids, my wife, because I'm a married man, been married for 26 years, and that stuff is funny. There's so much comedy in real life.
There's so
much. And I think you're absolutely right about that with your project you're doing. You add some humor to it, people can digest a little bit more, but it's also going to ring true because it is true.
Yes. A lot of African Americans will be able to watch this and say, I went through that same exact thing. Oh man, that happened to me at work. Oh, that happened to me at school. And then they put their kids in this private school, but they still feel like outsiders. And the whole family, with the exception of the dad, they all want to return to Wellsville because that's their home, that's the community that they know, where they grew up.
Okay.
Where everything happened, where they had all of their experiences.
Gotcha. But the dad's like, no,
the dad's like, no, we're moving out here because we want to live next to the Joneses, and I want to provide a better opportunity for my family.
Gotcha.
But what comes with that opportunity?
What's lost in that opportunity?
Yes.
Now, I know there's a lot that people can learn and take from our culture when they watch this, as far as people who may not be African American who see it and learn. But do you find that the Jenkins family actually learned something as well through this whole experience too?
Yes, and it's so funny that you say that, because there is, we are working within a quilt. With the show, it's layers on top of layers on top of layers.
Absolutely.
But there actually is a quilt that is included in the show, and the quilt is the link between the present and the past. Mm-hmm. And we have a flashback scene where we see a Big Mama. She's actually creating that quilt. Okay. And she talks about the importance of staying true to who you are, cultural identity, and making sure that you stay in Wellsville and keep it going because of the history of Wellsville.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, we want to always make sure that we leave with a message, talking about staying true to who you are and keeping your cultural identity.
And the reason I bring that up is I don't want people to think that this is something that you're creating or you're putting out there to bash a certain culture. No, that's not at all. It's a learning experience and saying we can both take something away from this. No matter who watches it, you will learn something about, what people go through. Some of the social issues that are prevalent right now. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about it, man, because you're trying to give light to something that's always been shoved into darkness, and we need to talk about it. Hard conversations that no one wants to have.
Absolutely.
But if you put it in a format like this with a little comedy with it, it's easier for people to take.
Absolutely.
And you'll change some hearts, you'll change some minds that way.
That's the goal. The goal. We want to get out there and just let folks know, just like you said, we're not trying to bash another community. We are the goal is for our own people to accept our own culture.
Yes.
And to embrace it and to stick with it and not try to be like the Joneses.
No, we don't have to. We can be our own thing and still be just as good and still prosper just like everyone else.
Right.
I believe in that. please tell my viewers right now where they can follow you, how they can contribute, and what they can do next to help this project happen.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. No worries.
Please follow us on Facebook. It's just simply Waking Up White. On Twitter, it's WUW Pilot.
Okay.
And follow us there. We have a lot of great things that are coming up. We're editing the show right now.
The first episode. And I'm going to make a promise right now. When he gets all that done, we're going to bring him back on, Jason, and he's going to show us some snippets from the actual show. Then we're going to do a follow-up where you're going, what we can do to help, and we're going to make sure this gets on, man. Wherever platform we need to, we're going to make sure we help you out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we are aggressively trying to get a production deal right now.
Okay.
Because we want to see this on television. We want something that really reflects us. And right now, it's a good time to be black and on TV.
It is.
It is.
That's the funniest thing you said. It's the truth.
Yeah.
Right now is a good time to be black on TV.
Yeah.
You ain't lying.
It's a lot.
As a guy sitting here with his own show, you ain't lying.
Yeah.
It's a good time for me to be paying these bills.
Absolutely.
I believe in your project. I think it's going to prosper. I really do.
Sir.
It's such an innovative and just different idea. And it's something not just something we want to see. It's something that needs to be seen.
Yeah.
I really believe that, man. Jason,
Thank you.
Brother,
Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you so much for being. Are you kidding?